You ever catch yourself whispering, I can't, and wonder what might happen if you flip that script? Welcome to Dare On with Jodi, where we're done with playing small and ready to start daring big. And I'm your host, Jodi Silverman, speaker, midlife mentor, and founder of the Moms Who Dare community. And around here, we don't wait for permission to live fully, we dare. Today's guest, oh, she's someone who knows a thing or two about turning doubt into action. Jen Croneberger is the founder of the Human Leadership Institute, a former sports psychologist for pro athletes, and a woman who's been daring through perfectionism, fear, and expectations her entire life, starting with Little League Baseball and a catcher's cup. Yes, really. If you're ready to go from I can't to I did, this episode is a nudge your soul has been waiting for. And hey, after you listen, if you're feeling inspired to take your own first daring step, check the show notes. I've got a great self coaching tool to help you get clearer on what that first daring step could be. All right, let's dive in. Hey, Jen, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Jody. Good to see you.
I'm good to see you too. I'm really excited about our conversation because I know that your story and what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about I can't to I did is such a perfect topic for daring on and doubting less and living fully. So let's just dive into it. Well, tell everybody first a little bit about who Jen is,
Sure.
about who you are.
I'm Jen Croneberger, and I am the founder and chief inspiration officer of the Human Leadership Institute. What we do here is we work with people, and I could almost just say, period. We work with people,
Yeah.
but we really look at the human side of business, of innovation, of collaboration, of all the things that go on in the workplace, really focused on leadership and culture. And one of the things that gets me up every single morning is when I see the impact of creating connection and community.
Mm.
And the fact that so many people today are so hungry for that.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and it's hard to find when you're just kind of floating around out in the wild, as I call it.
Yeah.
Life is going a million miles an hour with so much on our plates, and there's just so much going on that it's hard to take that pause to connect with real human beings. And
So true.
I have found that there's a piece of that needs to exist, especially in the workplace. But really, I came to this because my master's degree is actually in sports and human performance psychology. And I've worked with professional athletes and little kids and everything in between. And I realized it was all the same stuff. It was, really about how we human every day. It wasn't so much about performance or sports, which really kind of led me here to really understanding how we can focus on performance and take care of people at the same time. And that, in fact, we can do that and we can do it well.
Yeah.
But it's about building relationships.
It is, and you said so much in there. The work is so important, so much. I love when you said, what gets you up every morning, because
Yeah,
I think that's a lot for our listeners, is they're looking for that thing to excite them again, to feel meaningful, to feel fulfilling, to get them out of bed in the morning.
yeah,
And this is why we do this. This is why we have these conversations. And I,
that's
and
right.
I, and we everybody wants our attention, and technology is doing a really good job of taking it from us.
It is.
They're
It
taking it
is.
from us. And
Yeah,
yet, because through the work you do, we can get it back. We can learn those skills to be more present because when you're present, you're connecting with people.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, when you see this kind of, it's almost like a pendulum, really, when you think about it. You see this um kind of race into technology and AI and all the things, and it's great. And there's wonderful things that are coming down our pathway that have made life easier. And
Yeah.
at the same time, I think it swings so far sometimes that we actually have that moment where we can actually watch it start to swing back.
Yeah.
And a quick example of that, I have my nephew has two kids, two sons, and they had just posted about getting these phones. They're called can phones, and they're basically landlines
Yes.
for kids, right?
It's a
And
thing going on right now.
it's no screens, no. I mean, this thing has
A
a
cord.
cord that you can pull on, like we used to wrap it around our finger, you know. Um, and it was amazing because it was like, oh, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's proof that we sometimes we get so far in one direction that we swing way back
Yeah.
to the other way.
Yeah.
And we recognize these are the things that we're missing. These kids just want to talk to each other and make plans. I'm
I
like,
know.
what? We're
I
back to
know.
that. This is amazing. So, there's hope, I think.
There's hope. There's
There's
always
hope
hope.
that we're never really too far over our skis to be able to kind of lean back a little bit and say, wait, there's a balance here that is so critically important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to talk about, because you are somebody who has dared, and you've dared through fear, through doubt. I do believe you're also somebody who lives life fully.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about from I can't to I did.
Yeah.
And I know that, and I always start with a story like, where was the daring moment? I know you probably have so many daring moments, but
Yeah.
share a time in a daring moment when you did face fear head on, and what helped you push through it to get to the other side of fear.
So I'm going to even go back further to when I was a little kid. I'm going to
Okay.
start there real quick because I
Yeah.
think that there was a moment for me that I always kind of connect back to this moment of recognizing that I can do something that wasn't really shown to me or told to me that I could do it. When I was 7, we had moved to a new town, and I love baseball. I am a huge baseball fan. I watch games pretty much every day.
Well, go
Uh,
Phillies.
yeah, well, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm very sad
All
today
right,
because
fine.
they're out. They lost last night. I grew up there, so that's I you don't hold it against me. Um, so when I was 7, and I wanted to play baseball. But there was nothing, there was no softball back in, I'm dating myself, I know, but there was no softball for girls back
Yeah.
in my day. And so the only option was little league baseball with the boys. And my dad took me over to sign me up, and it was me and a whole room full of little boys and their dads, maybe a couple of spare moms, right?
Yeah.
It was interesting. Not many women in the room. And I remember feeling like a little timid, but my dad just marched right up to the table and signed me up and was like, "Okay, you're in." And I remember going to that first practice and kind of being like, "Okay, let's go. We're going to play baseball. I mean, this is what I love. I can play baseball. I throw well and hit well." And that progressed over time, and then I decided I wanted to be the catcher. This was now I'm 8, okay? And I tell my dad, he's now the coach because,
Of
this was
course.
he was loving it. Um, and I said I wanted to catch, and he very reluctantly was like, "Are you sure you want to do that? That's a tough position. They'd come barreling into home, and you're gonna have to, you know,
Yeah.
catch every pitch, and it's grueling back there." I said, "Yes, I wanna do this." And so I practiced and practiced and practiced and got to the point where he finally put me in a game, and I couldn't wait to get out there. And I ran out onto the field when it was the time. And there was this young umpire, and he was looking at me, and he looked at his rule book, and he looked back at me, and he said, I have to ask this because it says in the rules here, all catchers must wear a protective cup. And I looked at him like, what do you mean? And he's like, so are you wearing a cup? I ran back into the dugout. I rummaged through the big equipment bag to find what a cup might be, right? I knew I had an idea.
Yeah.
Grabbed it, shoved it in my pants, went back behind home plate. I'm like, let's play ball. Before my dad could even be like, what is happening? Are you, you don't have to do this. I'm like, oh no, no, I'm catching.
Right.
In that moment, I think it set a precedent for me as a young child to recognize that there are rules that were written for people not like me.
Yeah.
And that, somewhere somebody had to recognize that perhaps it's time to change some of these things, right? But for me, it was the moment of, yes, I can. You're not going to tell me, okay, I got to wear a cup to catch. Great, I'll do that. I don't care. Just let me
Right.
catch. Just want to catch, right?
Right. Right.
And it was that defining moment, I think, for me, that I go back to a lot, and I think about that moment of like, I didn't care. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. It was just about, I just wanted to play.
You
You
just
know,
want to
it
play.
wasn't about, it didn't matter. And so I try to bring that forward with me when I go into things that feel new or feel different or feel like, can I do this? I have no idea, And that's a tough place to be, but in order to dare, you just have to kind of sometimes step off the cliff and hope you can, flap your wings on the way down, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And I tell people all the time that type of fear, the fear that says, "Oh God, something could happen. I might not be good enough, or I might fail," or
Mhm.
that type of fear, that's just your mind trying to keep you safe from something you don't need to be kept safe
Exactly.
from.
Exactly.
And if
That's
you challenge it, if you say, "Well, so okay, what if I'm not the best catcher?"
right.
What's the worst thing that happens? I go back to first base.
Right. By the way, I made the all-star team
Of
that
course
year.
you did. Of course you did. And I've gotten to know Jen a little bit, and that does not surprise me. But you won't know until you try. And I know
That's it.
fear has
Yeah.
has a way of stopping us, but
Yeah.
challenge that fear. Like, is it really,
Yeah.
like, really, what's the worst thing that can happen, especially in the midlife chapter? Come
Oh,
on.
absolutely. Yeah.
The fear
Well,
of being made fun of, that's
yeah.
gone.
I think I think part of the thing that shows up in fear, and I noticed this throughout my life of, the sports psychology world, what was really eye-opening to me was two things. One, that it's not always the fear of failure. Sometimes it's also the fear of success that
That was a
holds us.
bit, I realized 10 years ago that
Yeah.
I was more scared of succeeding than I
Yeah.
was of failing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I was working with a professional baseball player, and I remember him specifically telling me that he was struggling with confidence. I'm like, dude, you made it. What are you talking about? Like, you've arrived. You've gotten to the highest of the highs in your sport, and you still struggle with confidence. That was eye-opening for me, because it was kind of like, okay, this is a human thing. This doesn't
Right.
matter where you
Right.
are, any of that, right? But what came from that is my understanding when he told me I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be put on a pedestal to then worry about slipping off of it
Yes.
every single day. Because as soon as you get there, then it's expected of you always. That ties into the second part of fear, and that's perfectionism.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it was my greatest gift and my biggest curse growing up,
Yeah.
is because when I did something, it had to be right. And I wasn't okay with, like, I got it most of the way right. And I think part of that for me, it held me back from doing a lot of things.
Oh,
I wrote in my first book, I talked about how I didn't want to play pool in front of other people because I didn't know if I would be good at it because I hadn't done it.
hmm
And so, we'd go out, people like, hey, you want to shoot some pool? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. It's kind of like, no. Because I had never done it. I was
yeah.
afraid of not being great at it, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
and that held me back.
so I want to, you just said the word great. I don't remember who it was, but recently, and I don't know, I'm trying to think, it was either an athlete or a very successful actor. I can't pinpoint in my brain, but I remember hearing these words because I am so against the word perfect.
Me
And
too.
I've never struggled with perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say, Jody, maybe you should have strived a little bit more. But that's not my problem. I
No,
am
it's
done is better than
hard.
perfect.
Yep.
But this person I remember was being interviewed. So what keeps you going? What motivates you? And they said, I just I just strive to be great in what I do. That's not the same as perfect.
Correct.
Because
Yep.
great is subjective. Like what's great to me could be
Hmm.
different than great for Jen.
That's right.
And I really, when I heard that, I wasn't watching it, I heard it. I'm like, so I want to
That's
be
it.
really good or really great at something doesn't mean perfect.
Right.
How you define your level of great. And it's just like with this podcast, I have certain benchmarks that I
Hmm.
strive for. We are
Yep.
not perfect. I am not perfect on the show, but I'm hitting my benchmarks because I'm working towards them. It's not about perfect, it's about being daring, not perfect. So I love
Right.
that you brought up
Yeah.
the perfectionism thing because that
Yeah.
prevents a lot of people from taking the
Absolutely.
first step.
Yes. Yeah, because we're afraid, if we don't get it right,
Yeah. Oh,
then what? Right. And so here I'll take that out one step further
yep.
because I think this was really eye-opening for me too when I was studying sports psychology and I was really understanding. I studied two things like really in detail: confidence and failure. And I started to recognize that the number one killer of confidence, and this might floor a lot of people, but this is what came back in all the research. The number one killer of confidence is the word expectation.
Mm, that's
And I
most
had to
like your
sit with that.
success.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
had to sit with that for a while. I had to really understand why. And because expectation is you did or you didn't,
Mm.
period. There is no in between, right? And so that would be like saying, I'm going to go take this class. And if I get a 99% on a test, that's a failure. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to take that class.
No.
I
Oh
mean,
God, I wouldn't.
that's terrible, right?
But
You'd have to get 100 in order to pass.
mm-mm.
So that's where for me I started to recognize, okay, so what happens is we have expectations. This kind of mirrors that perfectionist tendency to put on ourselves, we have to be this. And if we're not this, if it looks slightly differently, it's not a win.
Yeah,
And it's why I would work with young kids who were athletes and, they'd go into a game and they'd come out, they made one mistake. The rest of the game, they were flawless. And what are they focused on?
the one
The
mistake.
one mistake, right? And
No,
they'd say, oh, you played great. Great. Did you see when I messed up over here? Like, what about the whole rest of the game? That was like 2 seconds
I
of
know.
the entire 60 minutes. Let's talk about that, right? We have expectations that limit us because we believe it has to be all or nothing.
I know.
And that's the problem. That's what keeps us stuck.
That's a dream killer. That's a dream
Yeah,
killer. It's a happiness
absolutely.
killer. It
Yep.
it can, yeah. No, I love how you,
Yeah.
I like that. I like the number one killer is expectation. It's true.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
All right. So there's a lot of women listening. I think I mentioned this that feel stuck and disconnected to
Mm.
their dreams in this chapter of life, even if they still have a successful career.
Sure.
I had my own business. I'm 59, I was 45, I have my own business. And I remember thinking, yeah, no, there's something else. There's
Yeah.
got to be something else in this that I was meant to be doing. Because I think a lot of us, the midlife crisis, I don't think it is. It's a midlife opportunity.
Yeah. Yep.
That moment when you realize what I'm doing, I don't love, that
Yeah.
can't be my meaning. What would you say is a simple step to recommend to help somebody start figuring out or moving towards what that other thing could be for them?
So if you're sitting here right now and you're listening to this, I want you to grab the closest thing to you, whatever it is. Like I have a pen right here.
Yep,
So, all right, you got a pen.
I got a
So
pen.
you're going to hold that up and you're just going to sit there for a second with this pen in your hand or whatever you have, phone, water, whatever. And now you're going to put it down. Now, let me ask you, why did you just put it down?
Because I got tired of holding it.
But why else?
I decided to put it down.
Yeah, because I said so, didn't I?
Yeah,
I
because you
said
told
now
me
you're going
to.
to put it
Now you're going
down.
to put
Right.
it down. So you told me to do it, so I did it. Right.
Correct. Okay. So making the decision
Mm,
is the part that's internal. No one can tell you that, right? I can advise you, hey, maybe you want to put the pen down, right? Okay. So I put the pen down. but I have to decide, even if it's an external source, I'm still deciding to move my hand and to put the pen down. Now,
Yeah.
this is a very small, minuscule action,
Hmm.
but I want you to see how simple that was
Yeah. Yeah.
to actually do something. And so today, whatever that thing is, whatever this is, what I want it to look like, or you might not even know.
Right.
Okay, so part of your action right now, part of your decision to take action, because you can't just decide and do nothing.
No.
You'll be in the same spot. Now more annoyed because you decided and you didn't do it, right? So now
Exactly.
you're beating yourself up even more.
Exactly.
So when you make the decision and you take the action to do whatever it is, I don't care if it's stand up right now from wherever you are, stand up, take one step forward, and then sit back down. That's not hard,
No.
right? If you're able, that's not hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, whatever that is, find the thing, find the one small. I'm not asking for some huge thing, and I'm intentional about that.
Right.
Find one tiny little action that you can decide to go do right now.
Yeah.
And when you do that, now it gets easier to say, oh, let me do one more. It's like if you've ever gone to the gym, it's
Yeah.
like, you make this decision, I'm going to go to the gym. You finally get there. By the time you get there, you're not going to turn around and drive home. You're already there. So now it's like,
Right.
all right, I might as well go inside.
And do
Right.
something.
Yeah, might as well go inside. So now you're inside the gym. You could also turn around and leave, but
Hmm.
now you're already inside the gym.
Right.
Now the stuff is right there. All right, now I might as well just go do one thing, just one thing.
Right.
And then when you do the one thing, you're like, that felt kind of good. Maybe I'm going to do a second exercise.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Little bite
The
size.
first decision is to open your front door or your garage door or whatever to go get in the car.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
first decision. The first decision is to get out of bed to go do that, right?
Yeah.
So again, you can bring it back to these tiny little things. Make a decision and take action.
I like
That is
that.
the only way to get anywhere. But that's not some big grandiose thing. It's not like, oh, I got to write this whole book right now.
No.
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 It's pick up the pen and write one word.
Yeah. I
You
like
are
that.
well on your way.
I like that. Yes, because it is about bite-sized steps. If you try, that's why jumping ahead a little bit, when we talk about resolutions, ooh, no,
Mm,
because the New
yeah.
Year's resolution is all about going from 0 to 100,
Yeah.
and we are not built to sustain that. I like
No.
that. Make a decision, one small, tiny little
Small.
decision, and get up and act on it. And and I like how you said, for some people, it could be, I'm going to get up, I'm going to put makeup on. I'm not going to put makeup on. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to put something other than sweats on, whatever it might be for you.
Whatever.
Do it.
Yeah.
I like it. So you
Yeah.
want to reignite your dreams and go from I can't to I did? Make a decision and take
Mhm.
one little small step and act
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Now, I love this question. I ask all my guests this question because it's a phrase, I think Oprah coined this phrase, living your best life.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a
Yep.
big, bold statement.
Yep.
So I like, and I think it's very subjective. What do you, Jen Croneberger, believe living your best life to be about?
Love that question. For me, it's simple. It is my value, living my values. And I've made it very easy to remember for me because I need that. And actually I even have it printed on my necklace here.
Ah,
Um, and the word is light, Light. And it stands for love, integrity, gratitude, humor, and truth. Those are my 5 values that have to exist and I have to be acting on in order for me to be living my best life because that is living my most authentic life. And
yeah,
to me, that is my best life. It's not doing or being what someone wants or asks me to be. It's me showing up as my best self, as my most authentic self, sometimes as my most vulnerable self, as my most empathetic self, my most resilient self.
yeah. No, I love that.
And those 5 things need to exist for me. And if I'm and I check in. I've done this for many, many, many years of my life. I wake up in the morning, How am I going to show up in this light today?
I love
I
that.
go to bed at night. I let the dogs out. I stand on my patio and I look up at the sky and I say, did I do this today?
I love that. I love the light acronym. Say it again. It's love,
Love, integrity,
integrity,
gratitude, humor.
humor.
That's important.
Oh,
And truth.
yes.
Yeah.
I love
Those
that.
are the things for me that are critical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And when you check in with yourself and you realize that you lived a day
Yeah.
with the light, then that's
And it's
living your
and I
best
don't
life.
have to do them all in one day. It's like,
No.
where did I lean into today? What was today? I laughed a lot. Today was about humor. And I love that. Like that's such a big piece of me. If I'm not laughing, I'm doing it wrong. I want
I
to have
love
fun.
that.
I want joy in my life. I want to have
Absolutely.
fun. I want to be loving what I'm doing. I'm not saying it has to be every second. I'm not
Oh,
pie in
no.
the sky, you know, and I get to choose that, you know, like I don't want to put myself in situations where I don't have that opportunity.
No,
So
it's
it's
true.
important.
I say all the time when you going back to what you said at the very beginning, that what gets you up every morning is that you
Mhm.
love the work you're doing.
Yeah,
It's meaningful to
absolutely.
you.
Yep.
And when you love the work you're doing, even the hard stuff that you have to do within that work is not so difficult.
No,
You don't procrastinate on it.
no.
And I know that too, because there's hard stuff in producing a podcast, in being a
Yeah,
public speaker, which you are,
yeah,
and all of that. When I feel like, oh my gosh, this is so big, I'm like, yes, but I love this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can do the hard things when you feel a sense of meaning and fulfillment behind it. I love the light. I love the
Absolutely.
light.
Yeah, yeah.
Before we get to the dare, because nobody
Mhm.
gets out of here without giving the audience a dare, is there anything else you would like to share with respect to daring more, doubting less, or living fully? Or do you want to jump right to the dare?
I would just say, really, recognizing um, the importance of you. Your dream matters.
Hmm.
Who you are matters. What you want out of life matters. And to not believe that wholly is, to me, is heartbreaking, right?
Yeah.
And because I've been there. So I'm not standing on a mountain telling you, you know, this I'm up here and you're down there. I come from that place.
Yeah.
I've dealt with depression, anxiety my entire life. And I've had to, work through that and do the right things for myself that make me good every day. And I recognize that and I share that freely because I want people to know. People say you're like one of the funniest people I know. You're one of the happiest people I know. How could you possibly be suffering from depression? Yeah, this is the face of depression also, and
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's important to be able to kind of recognize that. But all of you, all your flaws, all your stuff, it's all a part of you, and it's what makes you be able to succeed at the end of the day. And I think neglecting that is an important reminder that not to leave half of you behind, because there's shame or there's sadness around it, or there's a story.
Yeah.
We all have them. We all have the scars. We all have the stories. We all have the stuff. And
Absolutely.
I think, you're beautiful just the way you are internally and externally.
Love that message. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you
Yeah,
for sharing more of
absolutely.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's your dare, Jen? What are you daring the listener who's leaning into this and really saying, okay, I'm ready to make a decision?
I dare you to pick up your pen and to write for 1 minute. 1 minute straight. Take 60 seconds and just write the biggest, boldest, most audacious goal. And I don't usually use the word goal. I usually use the word intention, because of that expectation thing. Goal, intention, but however you want to say it is fine. But I want you to write the biggest, craziest idea, the thing that you're like, this would never happen, which is why I don't love the SMART goal idea, because the realistic part in
Cheaper.
there is limiting, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's how I've come up with some of my most amazing moments in my business and programs and ideas and thoughts, because I've allowed myself to stretch beyond what is comfortable and what the parameters have always been, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but give yourself the opportunity, even if you don't do anything with it, it doesn't matter. It's the process of neuroplasticity, of
Right.
being able to stretch the brain to think outside of where you normally are, and give yourself the opportunity to dream big.
Yeah. Love that.
That's key.
Love that. That was my very first tagline when I started my business back in 2016. Dream big, dare
There
to
you
dream
go.
big. Thank you.
That's funny.
Thank you. Thank you for the
My pleasure.
conversation and the dare. If people, we're going to link what you
Yep.
shared with me in the show notes, but if people want to connect with you, Jen, what's the best way for them to do that? How would you like that?
So the website is thehli.com. So it stands for the Human Leadership Institute, thehli.com. You can find me there. On all social media, Jen Croneberger, pretty easy. Just come find
Yes.
me.
Okay.
She'll spell my name correctly on the
It'll all be
things.
linked below, I
So you
promise.
know. But yeah, I mean, I love having a conversation around this stuff. So, if there's questions or thoughts or you just want to reach out, please do. I'm always available for that.
Awesome. All right. Thank
Oh,
you.
and the new book is out too. You can
Oh,
find it
huge.
there.
What's it called?
It's called Meet Them Where They Are.
Meet them where they are. We will link that new book.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds, I love that. Meet them where they
Yeah.
are. I love
Yeah. Good
that
one.
whole saying.
Awesome.
All right. Congrats on that. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Dare on. What if your next bold move started with a pen? 1 minute, one crazy idea, and one decision to act. Jen's dare to you is simple. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Just pick up the pen and write down the wildest, truest intention you've been keeping hidden. Because here's the truth. You're not too late. You're not too far behind, and you're definitely not too old to dream big again. You just need to decide. If today's episode lit something up inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, tag me on Instagram, leave a review, or come join our community of women who are doing life differently. If you loved Jen's energy and insight, which I know you did, don't forget to check out her new book, Meet Them Where They Are. You'll find that link along with a link to the Wheel of Life workbook designed to support you in taking the next daring step toward your dreams. Talk to you next week, and until then, come on, say it with me. Dare on.